Hello there, friends. Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
As always, guys, please subscribe to all three channels. Each one's going to have unique videos on it. And straight to what's happening. Now we have three quakes in Turkey. First is a 7.8, or what they're calling a 7.8. This is in southern Turkey near the triple junction of the Anatolian, Arabian, and African plates. Actually, Turkey does have quite a history of significant earthquake activity. So this is also in a populated area, and that's not a good situation, a densely populated area. You might be familiar with Aleppo, as you see Aleppo, Syria, due south of this area. So right now what we are looking at, this is that 7.8. Now this was 17.9 kilometers deep. Then we have a 6.7 which came after it at 9.9 kilometers deep. And now we got, this one just popped up maybe a minute ago, a 5.6 at 10 kilometers deep, making a perfect little triangle. I would expect there's probably going to be a bunch of more aftershocks, and again, as long as they keep decreasing, that's a good thing. EMSC, let's see if I refresh this, is showing 3 as well. They're showing 7.8, 6.7, 5.6, and they're also showing
4.
Well, this is an Eastern 5.0, so this is not the exact same location. No, actually, they're a little bit off, but oof. Please send your prayers, because this is not going to be a good one. As far as we're definitely going to have a lot of loss of life here. This was felt in Israel. Actually, I saw it was felt as a 4.7 down in Israel. Also felt in Cyprus and Lebanon, and we do have some videos that have shown up. Again, it's the middle of the night over there, or actually probably heading towards morning, and it's a mess. There's multiple buildings down, as you can see here. Again, please send your prayers. There are reports of people screaming. Definitely there's going to be people trapped underneath. Undoubtedly there'll be rescue efforts that will probably be going on for days. So again, send your prayers out there for all those affected.
I mean, this has really got to be so frightening, so early in the morning, when so many people were probably in part of their deepest sleep, and now their houses are completely crumbled. They have nothing. They don't even know if many of their loved ones are alive. This is definitely something that warrants our full attention, sending as much love and positive energy as we can muster up right now, because these people are hurting.
Yeah, the world's gone through a lot, and we understand the world is still on the threshold of even larger events than the ones that we've had. What we've been feeling is that there are going to be real earth change events that are they're directly due to things that have to kind of happen with the earth itself. As for those of you that have followed our channel regularly, there's a lot of what we call artificial flavoring going on. There's a lot of technology behind the scenes. We could go back to the Vietnam War and see Operation Popeye. Back in the Vietnam War, they were using basically weather modification, geoengineering, weather control to flood out enemy soldiers. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. But this, Cindy gets, is more something that really is not necessarily artificially flavored, but natural.
It did. It feels like there's definitely a release of some kind going on here. It feels like an earthly release. She's communicating. Some of this also could be due. There's a lot of angst over there. There's a lot of stress over there. And we are all one. We're made of all the same material. And sometimes those energies can cause a reaction, but this really feels like there's an internal release of some kind.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, if you're a follower of this channel, you'll know that Turkey is, in my opinion, a very, it's going to be a pivotal player in what's upcoming. And there's definitely been a lot of focus, obviously, on its southern neighbor over in Syria, where there's been war ongoing for years. And again, you're in the same neighborhood as Iraq. You're not too far away from Afghanistan. Again, the emotional component of pain and suffering on the individual, as each one of us is a cell in the body of the earth itself, it does go into the earth. And there are correlations between the pain and suffering of the individual cells and of the whole. And so, this is part of what we see going on. And this is also an area where you have the Kurdish people who don't have a homeland, and who have been, in the middle of all the fighting over there as well. So again, this was felt in Lebanon, Syria, Cyprus, Israel, Palestine. Multiple apartment buildings have collapsed. 7.8, 6.7, and what did we say? 5.6, right? Yeah. So, again, more probably to come as far as aftershocks. Let's hope there's nothing larger. These are all relatively shallow. Again, the first one was 17.9 kilometers. A shallow earthquake tends to cause more damage. Now, if we had seen this at, say, 200, 300, 400 kilometers deep, it probably wouldn't have done as much damage, but there might be a greater chance that you would have a larger one somewhere else locally. Again, this is a junction of 3 different plates. It's a very, very busy area tectonically, as we see buildings reduced to rubble, cries in the streets tonight after this quake. So we want to, again, send our prayers and best wishes to all those that are in the middle of this, and all those that have loved ones in the middle of this. So this is definitely going to be one for the record books. Massive damage here, entire buildings down. And Cindy is doing...
We're sending energy.
She.
I want everybody right now to send energy consciously to anyone and everyone that'll use it. And I'm going to be using my weighted tuning fork. So we're going to send this repatterning over there. And this is going to help people fall into the right situation, be at the right place at the right time. It can create really good circumstances for people. And I know this looks really horrible, but we want to deliberately send them as much energy as possible. And please go over to Heart's Om. That is some place where we will be doing very serious meditations, mantras for situations like this. And it seems to be around the globe. Things are ramping up, and we're really going to need that.
Yeah, I do think by the year's end we'll have other quakes along this line of magnitude in these type of areas and other places. You can feel everything just building on up. As we see over here, another video looking inside an apartment. It's a good thing that it didn't come down on them. But in many cases it has on others. So I was looking at the 2 cities close to this area. One of them has a population over 2 million, and the other one has a population of 1.1 million. There's a lot of people in this area, as you see. This is the area that we're talking about, and when you zoom in, you do see, there's a lot of structures, lots of buildings, lots of houses, lots of people. It is a very, very busy, to say the least, or perhaps we should say very complicated area geologically, as you see the North Anatolian Fault, the East Anatolian Fault, and here we have the Biltis-Zagros Fold and Thrust Belt, and then the Dead Sea Transform. And we can see the island of Cyprus there and the Hellenic Arc, which leads to the islands of Greece over there. Fascinating to think that in this area, like in here, this is where there are those massive cave systems. Think about all the cave systems that could house tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people in times of tribulation. When we had, for instance, the Younger Dryas die off on the planet, many, and me included, I think Cindy believes too, this is where so many of the people that did survive it went down into the earth. And think about it too from the geological perspective. Can you imagine being inside caves and getting shook? Oh, that would be just so scary. It's scary enough to being in the buildings. So you see these orange dots? These orange dots are quakes over 7.0 in Turkey from 1900 to 2020. So you can see there have been quite a few really large earthquakes in this area. It's not a stranger to quakes, obviously. Every little dot there is a quake. And again, the orange ones are between 7.0 and 7.9, the yellow 6.0 and 6.9. Yeah, this when Cindy told me about this, I was like, this is not going to be good. Not going to be good at all. 26 December 1939, you had an earthquake of 7.8, just like this one, and it took 32,700 lives. Now, again, depends on the location. Well, I think there's many, many more people in this particular area than was the case there for a similar quake. And, again, this is not an isolated event. We see various quakes taking 2,300 lives, 2,500 lives. Of course, that big one over here, somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000, 4,000 lives, 2,000, 17,000 over on 17th of August, 1999 for a 7.6. And it even goes back into ancient history when you look at it. You see some big numbers there, the 1268, 60,000. And over here, 19th of May, 526 AD, Antioch, 250,000 lives lost. The population was 300,000. That's most of the people didn't make it at that particular period in time. Let's hope that this is not the case, and let's just take a peek. Let me refresh this before we wrap this one up. Yeah, we still have those three there, and that's what we're showing over on USGS, and we have the three there as well. Over on EMSC, well, guys, again, please do send your prayers for all the people that have been affected, and they do count. They absolutely do count. If you are so inclined, please do call on the beings in the angelic realm, that the people that need their own angels now be able to reach them, and that those angels might be what they are actually named for, messengers, to guide those to them that need to be found in everything that we have going on.
Right. When we open up these doors for guides and angels to help us, what happens is these things where somebody might be called to turn their head just at the last second, where they might see somebody waving a flag or waving something and asking for help. So all of these little things matter. They all count. Send as much energy as you can over to these folks, because they're not going to have a good few days, few weeks. This is a tough time for them.
Absolutely. As always, guys, much love, God bless, and namaste.
Namaste.